Hey YouTube, this is Wrestling Museum Park Fan 62. It is Monday, February the 20th at about almost quarter to six. Now, in today's video, this is my review of the WWE Elimination Chamber uh, PLE for 2023. I'm going to go in order. So, first was the Women's Chamber match. Now, this match was not as bad as some of the other women's chamber matches in the past. Both Liv Morgan and Natalia did great. They lasted a good amount of time considering they were the first two into the match. Um, I love the craziness and the uncertainty of both Nikki Cross and Asuka in this match as well. Um, And so I love that and how like she was so caught up in it. It wasn't until about it was her time to get in where she took her ring coat off. So I thought that was kind of neat. Another thing that she did, which was kind of neat as well, was her dive off the top of the pod. Um, Next was Raquel. I don't know why I said Raquel. And she did a lot of the like heavy lifting spots. And honestly, those that was awesome to see as well. Especially the double um, bomb move that she has. She has a certain name for it. I'm sorry, I couldn't name it. Next was Asuka. Um, Now I don't know if they're going to use the word Kana or not. But as of now, they're still using the word Asuka. And honestly, she did great in this match as well because it was one of those spots where, you know, she, she was going after everybody in the match. So then finally, you have Carmella, who comes in last. Now, I love the spot where she was trying, it was her turn to come out, and I think it was Asuka was kind of like waiting for her to come out to pounce on her, so to speak. So, Liv Morgan was the first one to get eliminated. Then it was Nikki Cross, I believe. And then it was Raquel, and then I think Natalia was in there somewhere. And then the last one standing was Asuka, who is going to battle um, Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania. Um, Overall, that was a good start to the match. The crowd in this show was one of the best crowds in recent memory. They were red hot from the start. Now it was the same night. I know I don't know for sure, but I think it was probably a lot of the same people who went to SmackDown the night before. The next match on this card was Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. Now they were at the time tied one apiece going into this match, and both of them basically was getting out of each other's finishes. So Bobby had Brock in the Hurt Lock, and Brock knew that uh, he couldn't get out of it, so he low blowed him for the disqualification. That was kind of a neat thing because it was like they're going forward with the storyline. Now, the part that's going to be interesting to see is if you watch SmackDown, uh, Bray Wyatt said he's going to go after the winner of Bobby and Brock. So so Raw tonight is going to be very interesting regarding that and going forward. Next match was the uh, women's or the men's elimination chamber match. Now, this match had a lot to live up to from the women. Now, while the women's was good, um, you just didn't know what was going to happen. So the cool part about this was there were some awesome spots in the match as well. Um, and it it was one of those matches where you just didn't quite know what was going to happen. Montez Ford did a phenomenal job with his performance in the match. Johnny Gargano did a good job as well. Um, Damian Priest did as well. He, him, and Bronson Reed were the two biggest men in this match. Um, Now Bronson Reed, when he came in, was kind of like the person you had to get out as fast as you can. So they tried a lot that they could, and so they finally did it. Um, the, so the last two came down to Seth Rollins versus Austin Theory. Now, um, it was interesting um, because Montez Ford got hurt from a stomp by Seth Rollins a couple of minutes before. So, it was taking their sweet time to get Montez Ford out as he wasn't visibly able to get up. So then you had um, Logan Paul come in and curb stomp Seth Rollins into the mat. Austin Theory took advantage for the 1, 2, 3, and he won. So Austin Theory retained his title at WrestleMania or at the Elimination Chamber. I did forget Beth Phoenix and Edge versus the Judgment Day was in this spot. So um, so now for this match, it was interesting because you know this had one of those, especially with Rhea versus Beth Phoenix. It was big beefy women smacking each other. And it was kind of a neat thing because Rhea has this momentum with her match versus Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania. So this is one of those situations where how can you book that where both of them look strong? And then you have Dominic Mysterio on the outside edge, basically helping Rhea and Finn Balor win. So this was interesting, but overall it was a good match. I loved the her Beth Phoenix's finisher to Rhea on the outside mats, um, the Glam Slam. So that took her out of the equation. So then Edge basically speared Finn Balor for the pin, uh, and so Edge and Beth Phoenix won. Now the last, and this is the one that took up the hour left of this pay per view was Sami Zayn, hometown hero, versus Roman Reigns. Now, like I said, with the women's chamber match, this crowd was hot all night. But this match in particular is where a majority of the crowd was going toward. Um, and the interesting thing about this was is as soon as Roman Reigns' music hit, it was like a sea of boos. Um, so this you could almost rival this from the Attitude Era, um, as far as like the boos, and then that will come into a factor in this match as well. So the next thing is once Sami Zayn's music hit, the whole place was cheering, and it was awesome. And this is one of the few times where you saw Sami Zayn not coming out and dancing like he did because they brought his old theme back. And so, also during this match, you heard a lot of "F you Romans" chants. Um, that's one of the reasons why on SmackDown, part of that segment with Sammy went black is because of those chants. Now, this is where it got interesting because with Sammy, he was doing all that he could. He had Roman on the ropes a few times. Plus, Roman, I feel like, was trying his best considering he had 17,000 fans booing him, plus that one chant they were doing. So that was rather fun. Um, but the interesting thing was you also had in this match was you had the Usos come in. Um, now, I think you had Jimmy to come in at the start, and he super kicked Sammy twice. Roman went for the pin. Uh, Sammy kicked out. But also, then you had Jimmy come in, who looks like he betrayed um, Sammy, and and he super kicked him. He did the Uso splash on Sammy. He still kicked out. Um, and then this is where it got interesting because Roman beat Sammy in his hometown to a sea of boos. And then as that match ended, they were sort of playing off from the Rumble with that whole scene where this started because Roman was holding a chair out to, I think it was Jimmy, who was basically like, finish him. So they sort of teased of Jimmy hitting Roman like what Sammy did. Well, so he finally hit Sammy with it a bunch of times, and then Roman got the chair and he hit Sammy a bunch of times. So then out comes Kevin Owens to save Sammy, and basically you had Kevin Owens versus the Bloodline in this match. And so he stunned everybody. But the one funny part in this match was um, Paul Heyman hitting Kevin Owens. Uh, and of course, Kevin Owens stunned him as well. So um, Kevin Owens walked off, and uh, keep an eye on Sammy. And then that is the end of Elimination Chamber 2023. All right, let me do my thoughts on this match overall. It was a fairly good pay per view. The women's match was good. Edge and Beth Phoenix was good. Um, the men's was actually really good. I think it slightly surpassed the women, not by much. But then the whole Sammy versus Roman is what really took it over the top because you just didn't quite know what it was going to do, what was going to happen. So now it is going to be Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed heavyweight title at WrestleMania. So it's going to be interesting going forward how they're going to play this. And so I hope you enjoy. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, put them down below.